Hello, and welcome to What's in Your Online Teaching Toolbelt. My name is Sarah Wood, and I am an educational technology consultant from Kent ISD, and I'm sharing some of my contact information here. In case you like what I have to share or want some more information, feel free to get in contact with me. As we get started with our topic here about what's in my online teaching tool belt, I wanted to get us started with a little activity to kind of engage us in this topic. So I'm going to ask you to do two things here. Task number 1, I would like you to go to that link listed under task 1 there and answer the question on the form. If you really knew me, you would know that I love blank when it comes to teaching. So to get us started, I wanted to engage you in a little activity here before we get into our content. So using that link under task 1, I would like you to go to the form and answer this warm-up question. If you really knew me, you would know that I love blank when it comes to teaching. Then after you have completed that form and submitted your answer, then go to task 2 that's listed there and visit that link and see all the other responses that others have shared. So take a minute to do that, pause the video, and then come back when you are done. So one thing I would like to share is that just keep in mind that one size does not fit all, pretty much with anything when it comes to online teaching resources. And we just need to be open and provide options for students so that we're giving them tools for what they need to show what they know and understand the content, just like we as adults need different tools to get us through the day. So the challenge that I was presented with here was, how do you engage students with different strengths and abilities in content when there are endless tools and resources to choose from? And I know it's so hard, especially in the age that we are in right now in this COVID world, is that we have so many things that are being thrown at us that sometimes you kind of go on tool overload with, there are so many things to use, I don't even know what to use. And so when I'm feeling that way, what I do, my solution is that I go back to what I know and what I'm comfortable with, and that is choice boards. So choice boards are something that I have in my back pocket. I can easily create. I can have students create their own, and they can be adapted in so many different ways. And what I love about choice boards is that the focus is on the content. And so you can integrate some of these other online tools to really provide students with options to show what they know, or to even explore the content a little bit further. And it really gives students voice and choice in their learning, and from the beginning then they're more engaged because they feel that they have that ownership in the process. So choice boards have been around for a while. Maybe they're new to you, but a choice board is basically a graphic organizer where students can choose different ways to explore a topic, learn more about it, show what they know. So I'm showing a couple of different examples here of choice boards that I've done, just so you can see that they can look very different. And because we're teachers, we all can appreciate a good standard alignment. So I'm showing here how these, using choice boards here, can integrate into the MyText standards under the Creative Communicator section. So why in the world would I choose choice boards as my go-to for my online teaching tool belt? And the biggest thing is that when I want to make sure that I'm reaching all of my learners, I know I can do that through a choice board. And I also know that I can easily incorporate a variety of EdTech tools that will give students things that they can connect to with this. But the best part I love about these is that they are so easy to create and can literally be done on the fly, or you can create them ahead of time and just kind of have them, like I said, in your back pocket. So I'd like to send you off on a little exploration here, looking at some examples. Use the link that's given there to explore some of the choice boards that I have created. And if those don't quite grab you or are not quite aligned with the grade levels or content that you teach, feel free to take some time and just Google it. See what other kinds of choice boards are out there, what they look like. My hope is that you will just have a better understanding of what choice boards can look like and how they can be applied in your classroom. So take a few minutes and go ahead and explore those. Pause the video here if you need to, and then come back and we'll continue our discussion. So as you were looking at some of the choice boards in your exploration, you might have noticed that they are structured in many different ways. And what I love about choice boards, one of the many things, is that they can be very structured or they can be unstructured, depending on how you want your students to engage with the content that you're putting there. So what I like to do if I'm not using a MakerMat style, where I'm giving students vocab words or items from our theme to create, is I try and align my choice boards with either learning styles, relate it back to STEAM concepts, or what I call the 6 C's plus of the communication, collaboration, content, critical thinking, creative innovation, and confidence, but then also add in leadership and reflection. And what I try and do for each of those squares, have my task or activity that I'm putting in that square structured around that skill that I would like them to really focus on. Another great thing about choice boards is that they can be created with whatever you have on hand. I personally kind of live in the Google world, so my go-tos are Google Docs, Google Slides, or Google Sheets. Same would go for Microsoft products. I often find myself going to PowerPoint just as frequently because I personally love a good font and I want to be able to customize it a little bit more, and I have that freedom in PowerPoint to be able to do that. So when we're speaking to choice boards, one thing I like to point out is the accommodations that are kind of built into the structure of using a choice board. And because it can be created in multiple ways, you can easily work these accommodations in so that they are discrete and that all students feel that they are included in that choice board. So some of the things that you could easily add to it are links to audio or video recordings of some of the directions or choices that are on there. Give students multiple ways of showing their work, provide text and images for each choice option, or even provide multiple versions of the same choice board. So some of the accommodations that I have worked into some of the MakerMats or choice boards that I have created is that I will include a link to an audio or video recording of myself reading the text, as well as images that go along with each item on the MakerMat. Another thing that I have done for students, using a class in particular here for a STEAM class that I taught, the classroom community had English language learners, we had cognitively emotionally impaired learners, as well as some non-readers. So I wanted to make sure that the MakerMat or choice board that I was providing for them gave them an opportunity to engage with the content, as well as have an opportunity to easily access what they were being asked to do. So for this one, I created a MakerMat that was in English and had images, one that was in Spanish and had images, and then one that had English and Spanish and images on it. So I provided the students with 3 different options of the same MakerMat. To be honest, most times when I use a choice board, I am not choosing to use this as a tool where I am assessing students, but sometimes having a rubric on hand helps students know that they are accountable for the work that's given, especially if this is an activity that you are sending home with them to do, maybe over break or the weekend or over a course of time, something to give them extra enriching experiences that go beyond the classroom. So I provided an example of a choice board rubric here that you could use, where the focus is more on how they are completing the task, not the quality of what they are producing. So going back to when we're talking about how we can introduce a variety of EdTech tools into the choice boards, I'm sharing some different implementations here for ELA, science, math, and social studies. And really, any of these tools could be used across any content area. You are by no means limited to using only these. So feel free to check out some of the options that are presented here. And just some things that I have learned along the way that I thought I would share, some of my tricks of the trade, is that I create a template, and I use that template for just about any choice board or maker mat that I use. And you'll start to see that theme if you looked at any of my choice boards at the beginning, that they all look pretty similar. And I intentionally do that so students know what to expect when that choice board is presented in front of them, especially after we've done them a couple of times. Another thing is that I always include a free choice. And I feel that this really helps building a culturally responsive learning environment because it really allows me to see what is of interest to the students, where their strengths are, and just really what's important to them as far as having that choice to show me something that's important to them. Another thing that I like to do is have a list of tools, and this allows me to easily change out the options that I'm providing to students from that template. It provides them to an introduction to a variety of different tools, gets them practicing different skills, and really just allows them to explore content in different ways. And then finally, the last thing that I like to do is include links whenever possible. And that will sometimes go back to those accommodations that I mentioned at the beginning as far as links to video or audio directions, but even just links to websites so that it's right in front of them. You're eliminating one step of them having to go and search that website out, but just put it right there so that they know what you are expecting them to use. So if this is something that kind of caught your eye or maybe made you look at choice boards in a different way, I'm providing some additional resources, some links to articles, so feel free to check those out. And I would like to thank you for taking some time out of your day to listen to me share about choice boards. And I am including the link to this presentation so you can easily access those links. And feel free to connect with me on social media or reach out if you have any questions. Have a great day.